And now, leading the charge, Master Sergeant Jason Evans of your United States Air Force Honor Guard, Drill Team! In this formation, X marks the spot. This sequence exhibits the technological advances in targeting and navigation forged by Air Force airmen. These breakthroughs greatly reduced collateral damage in war and gave the global positioning system to the entire world.
Oh, he's going to install the stick. How are you doing, bird? What is good? No, it's just like, yo, dude, there's a bird. He knows what's good. Look at him up there. He's just like, I already got the stick installed, so...
Hey, Dad!
Hey, Taco. Yeah, there you go. Yes. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode by Burn World to Day Vlog 58. So this is my first day vlog in a while, where it hasn't been a day vlog, or I mean, a movie review or a show review. So I am going to see Deadpool 2 this next weekend, which I'm pretty excited for, because of course that's my second most anticipated movie of this year. So yeah, super excited for that. So my review will be coming either on the next day vlog, or if not, I might just do my whole solo video for that. And for a lot of my longer movie reviews, or at least the ones I think are going to be longer, I might just do like solo videos for them, kind of like I did with Infinity War. Just, of course, that one will always be like my biggest one, because that was my most anticipated movie of all time. But I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, so basically just getting right into it. First off, I just want to show these things up here real quick, which is, you guys know I love, not only collecting movie props and replicas, but also making my own. Of course, these are like all mine right here, but found these at Target, and they had a few Ready Player One pop figures in there, and they also had this box that was the same exact size, and it came with like, the action figures for, Parzival, H, I can't remember, IROC, and, Artemis. I believe that was it, and a few of their weapons. But for some reason, there's like price differences at every single thing, because at Target it was $35, and they didn't even look like amazing. And they're only, they're only about like that big, only like 3.5-inch characters. So yeah. But then I was watching like videos on them for YouTube, and there's like people saying that they found them at like other stores for like $12, and I was just like, I'd buy them for that much, but not $35. But these are right next to it for $10, which they're actually made by Funko, so are the action figures. And I thought they were going to be like all flimsy and floppy, but they're actually not. They're like completely solid. And I kept them in the box. Of course, I didn't keep the top part, but you can see I kept the back part on there, and then they have like this false kind of silk, or not silk, whatever you want to call it, kind of plasticky soft stuff. But yeah, and then it's just, if you haven't seen Ready Player One or read the book, these are the 3 keys from it. Of course, that is the copper key, and then the jade key, and then the crystal key. So yeah, so they're actually really cool. I love the detail on that, but I think that was definitely worth $10, and it's up there. And of course, I love that movie, and those are kind of the 3 main little, items from the movie. So yeah, so that is it for that. But then next up, what I want to show is my 2 newest, custom Lego minifigures, which are both Marvel ones. So yeah, so right here, of course, I did move some of these guys over a little bit, so I could fit my new Iron Man minifigure. And this is actually my first, like, full custom Iron Man figure, because that one I just took War Machine and made, Iron Patriot, of course, right there, which that's still one of my, if not my favorite custom Lego minifigures. But yeah, so this one I actually just made out of, minifigure parts, of course, and then, I used, one of the extra little chest plate pieces that I have and sanded it. I have 2 of them, and I finally got around to using one of them, and I just sanded it and everything to make it a little bit smaller and everything. And then I actually didn't use a helmet, because this is my, of course, if you watch my Infinity War review, this is my new favorite Iron Man suit. It used to be Mark 42, and then both of these were in Iron Man 3, so Iron Patriot and Mark 42 are kind of tied for my number 2 spot. But of course, number 1 is Mark 50, just because, of how slim he is and just how cool he looks, and the little blue lights everywhere. But also, he does anything he thinks of just kind of pops up, like his giant cannon, his wings, his little turret things. He's just so cool. That thing, and the nanotech thing that comes out, the little arc thing on his chest. But yeah, so I just made that. I actually used paper and super glued it to the front of the chest plate right there, so I could get some more finer detail right there. Then I just used clay, air dry clay on the top of the head, so I could kind of make it, so it still looked not like a head, but still kind of more skinny than those helmets, of course. But yeah, and then you can see I did the little blue highlights, if it stops focusing on Scarlet Witch back there, you can see the blue highlights around the arc reactor and his eyes and everything. I also did the blue lights on his shoulders and his legs, and the detail on the side of his legs even, and yeah, so turned out pretty darn good. Not like amazing, but I really like it. So yeah, so that's that. And Over here, you guys know that a couple day vlogs ago I showed that I made my custom little Lego Igor. Well, now I made this, which is you could say Mark 1. Of course, he based it off of Mark 1 and kind of took some parts from it. But of course, it's Ironmonger, Obadiah Stane's suit, which he of course took Mark 1 and kind of styled it off of and took some parts. But yeah, so I just built it out of Legos, of course, and then I actually super glued a little gun right on that, and then a little red piece. So it's kind of like his rockets and then his turret thing. And I actually used arms for kind of like the little joint, whatever you want to call them, connecting to the shoulders, and then the ball joint kind of did those little stud things right there. And then the head just connected a silver or a gray dome piece to a gray circle piece and drew the head and everything. And then a circle piece for the middle, and then I actually just painted underneath that for the arc reactor, so that's really cool. Since it was covered up, I didn't have to worry about making it perfect circle, so it's once that's on top of it, it's just really, really cool, because it's like a just perfect flat colored white circle. So yeah, and then, of course, my Hulkbuster right there. But, yeah, so here are the better pictures for those, so you can see the backs of both of them. Yeah, so I did not do, of course, near as much, detail and everything on Ironmonger as I did on Igor. But he also doesn't have as much as Igor. But, yeah, so those are those two figures right there. So, yeah, so those are those first two things. So now over here, a couple new drawings that I did. You guys know these are like all my band drawings, my mini 21 Pilots one, and then my Gorillaz one, and then like Eminem, Bastille, Melanie Martinez, and Portugal Man. But yeah, so of course also just yesterday actually yesterday for me, Bastille released his new single, Quarter Past Midnight. So I've been pretty hyped up for that for couple weeks now, and he finally released that yesterday, and it is so good. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. I made a little drawing of it. I can't remember if I included it in the intro of this day vlog. I might have, but you guys already have seen it if I did. But yeah, so now I drew these three. Of course, Foster the People. They've been around for a while, and they used to make their songs like Pumped Up Kicks, Call It What You Want, and Don't Stop, and those songs, they used to be some of my favorite songs quite a while ago. And I thought that they just broke up and weren't a band anymore, and I was just like, if they ever come back, they might be one of my most favorite bands. And then all of a sudden I saw that they made the Sacred Hearts Club album. I saw this like almost a year ago now, not long after it came out. But yeah, so I just got really back into them, made my own playlist, of course, for all these bands on my wall. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I drew for this one is, of course, like their main logo. I know they have the, red circle with, like, the lightning and the, HC, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, so I drew that one because I just like that one kind of better with the pink line outside. And then that heart, which actually represents their song Ruby, but it also, I kind of, not only Ruby, kind of their Sacred Hearts album, since that's my second favorite album by them, but then my first favorite is Torches, which, of course, that's like the main character from it. But yeah, so I just did that. But yeah, so next up is Kendrick Lamar right here. Don't have a ton of songs for him in my playlist, but quite a few now. Of course, with the Black Panther album and everything, that added a lot. But yeah, so his main logo right there, kind of just Kendrick Lamar in the weird kind of font, and then the little crown, kind of because that's just one of his logos a little bit, but also it's kind of representing it, one of my favorite songs by him called King Kunta. But then also, there's one of those pictures, you might be saying, like, what the heck, that's not Compton. But yeah, so one of the wallpapers for him was actually Africa, and then it said Compton in it, because he's from Compton, but he's also, like, he represents Africa a lot, and he raps about Africa a lot and everything. And, of course, a lot of his music and, music videos are very African culture based and everything. So yeah, so that, of course, that is the outline of Africa, but I drew Compton in the cool font, and then that's actually the little silhouette of Kendrick Lamar right there, which I think looks really cool. Of course, this is, like, no color, but, for him, it represents it good, or well. So then behind it, I just kind of put chains, and then one of the chains breaking off right there. And then last but not least, I kind of save it for last because I want to talk about him a little bit more. Avicii. If you watched a long time ago, he was one of the guys that I originally drew on one of my other band drawings I took down a while ago, which I kind of styled this off of because I drew his logo and then his name and then kind of paint splatter, but this one I did honestly a lot better. I really, really like this one a lot more than that one. But yeah, so there's this logo, of course, and I kind of drew around the edges, and then I kind of faded it, so it's kind of like darker towards the edges and fades in. And then, of course, his main logo right there, Vichy. And then the blue paint, or the blue splatter going that way, and the pink purple thing going that way. So I actually use like light blue, and then dark blue, and then pink and purple. So that looks really, really cool. So yeah, so those are my 3 new artist drawings right there. But the thing I want to talk about Avicii is, of course, a couple weeks ago he did end up passing away, which is, I was honestly pretty darn shocked about. Like, of course, there's been a lot of famous, like, big celebrities and everything, but out of, like, all my favorite bands, I don't think a single one of them has, like, passed away, because, of course, Tyler or Josh from 21 Pilots hasn't, and Melanie Martinez hasn't, Eminem, and no one from Portugal the Man, or Bastille, or Gorillaz, and, like, they're still running completely strong. And, like, Avicii, like I believe a few of his songs were at one point or another were my favorite songs, and he's always been my favorite DJ/EDM artist. And of course, my playlist, I think I have like 20 something songs by him. And then at the beginning of this vlog, you would have saw a couple days after he did pass away, I learned a lot of some of his songs on my keyboard to kind of make a little tribute. But yeah, so I believe his family did confirm that he did actually commit suicide. So yeah, that really sucks. And also it was when he was on a trip with his friends in Oman. But then also, like, cause like almost a year ago he like quit performing and everything, and I was kind of getting worried, and he was saying he can't handle the performing stuff. And then that documentary, the True Stories thing, they took it down from Netflix, because as soon as he died, on the documentary, he said he was feared that he was gonna die young or something. So yeah, so that really sucks, but just kind of made a drawing not only in his tribute, but also he's my favorite EDM and DJ artist, and of course I'll still listen to his music that he did make throughout his life. So yeah, so that is that. But moving on over here now to my updated movie poster wall. So first off, for Deadpool, of course, I haven't done my review for Deadpool 2. I haven't even seen it, but this used to just be my poster for Deadpool, but it was kind of just the boring one where it's just like kind of his little midsection, and he just says like, wait till you get a load of this, and it was kind of a boring one. I don't know why I hung that one up. But now, of course, since Deadpool 2 is coming out, I switched out the poster for Deadpool 1 and got my favorite posters for both movies, which are kind of these cool, like, almost painting, drawing kind of looking ones. And, of course, that's my new one that I got for Deadpool, which is Ajax and Deadpool fighting, and then you've got, like, all the main characters. And then him riding on Colossus's shoulders. And then, for me anyway, this was the one that Ryan Reynolds on his Instagram, I believe, released actually just a few days ago, which is the new, like, main official poster for Deadpool 2, which, of course, has, like, all of X-Force, like, around there and everything. And then, of course, you got, can't remember his name right now. Oh, yeah, Peter. And then Josh Brolin as Cable, of course. And then, his son, I believe, Colossus, of course, returning. And then Domino, and then Deadpool floating on a giant blow-up swan. And then there's actually a floating little burning parachute pack right there, so I don't know what that's about. But yeah, so that is one of the new things right there. And then of course also right here is you guys know I just had the poster up for Hellboy, which was that one, of course. I just printed out on this, but as I said a while ago, I really like that movie. But now I have seen Hellboy 2. They finally added it to Netflix on May 1st, so I watched that pretty much right away. It actually has a higher rating, but I would say I like it just exactly as much, because the final battle on Hellboy 2 was honestly a lot better than the final battle on the first one, in my opinion. It was just a lot more personal, and because it was like him and the bad guy on the first one, it was just like his whole team against that like big monster thing. It was just a lot less memorable, and also the big like Golden Army robot things were really, really cool. But yeah, so the first one, of course, I own on DVD. The second one, not yet, but I might get it at some point. So yeah, but other than that, I don't think I switched this one out right here. It used to be Apollo 13, but I just took that down because I didn't think it fully deserved like a poster up here. But I switched it out with A Beautiful Mind, which is actually another Ron Howard film. But yeah, so we watched in my psychology class. This was actually very, very good. I really like that movie. As Russell Crowe, and yes, it is another Best Picture winner, so I have seen yet another one. But yeah, so that was really, really good, and I just switched that out right there. Kind of just trying to make up some more room there. Okay, so next up is this. This I've been waiting to show for so long. So yes, it is my, like, final, or not final, but, it's like my final big project of the year, but also not only that, it is my biggest wood project I have ever made throughout, my 3 years of doing woods, because I did it. It was required 2 years, or 2 quarters, 1 quarter in 7th grade, 1 quarter in 8th grade, but, then I chose to take, 1 semester, or I mean the full year of, this year in 9th grade, or I mean 10th grade. So yeah, so it is a hall bench. You can see how big it is. I will compare it to that one. That one, we've had forever, of course, like for, I don't know how long. But yeah, so that one, of course, was, I mean, it was made, but it was made by, like, machines, of course. I don't know if anyone built it or anything. My dad doesn't remember building it, of course, but he's, like, pretty talented wood maker, so if he made it, he probably would just make one. He wouldn't just, like, buy it and make it. But you can see, like, the hinge right there, some special hinge and everything, and it, like, doesn't even slam it. Like, it has a special hinge, so it doesn't do that. Mine, if you let go, it will just let go. But yeah, so here it is. Not only is it my biggest one, but it's also probably my most well-made one, of course. It's super, super smooth, because after I clear coated it, I went back and used a very light sandpaper and sanded it, and then waxed it. But yeah, so you can see some of the shine and everything there. But yeah, so then I just put that hinge on right there, which you might be able to kind of see. I did 6 screws, 3 on the bottom and 3 on the top underneath there. So yeah, so you can really see the shine right there. But yeah, and then, so these weren't supposed to be really sticking out, but that's why I connected these 2 boards with, of course, with, biscuit joints. They weren't supposed to be sticking out, but I think they kind of looked, cool. But then, so yeah, so that's the, little top thing, and of course it's curved along there. And then the hinge just barely sticks out right there, and then it's actually curved down there like so, and then you just kind of had to hammer these in with a wooden mallet thing, just to, because of course that's where I made my pilot holes and then drilled in after I took it back apart, which kind of sucked, and I had to take it back apart and then glue it and then put it back together again. And I just hammered those in to cover up the holes and everything. But yeah, so then that is the side, of course, and then just the legs. I believe these were 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch squares for the top at least, and then I had to do 14 of these. Yes, these are each individual little panels that I had to cut and then get down to the thickness, and then I had to glue them. Like you can see right here, I actually made a rabbet joint, which is kind of, you just kind of, because you can see it ends right there, but the rabbet joint on the back side actually goes right there, and it's like a little dip and everything where you can kind of place the panels, and then you glue inside that dip, which of course you can't see, but it's there, because you're not supposed to see it. But yeah, and then these panels, you can see I put this little ridge along there to curve it around there and everything. And then yeah, and then the bottom is just it's just I can't remember what it's called, but it's just a very thin wood. And then I actually went in each of the 4 corners, and then one right there and one right there of little brads. And yeah, so for some reason he doesn't have a brad nailer there, so I literally had to go in there with a hammer and hammer those brads in there. And if you don't know what brads are, they're basically like tiny little nails that are like that tall. And like, you probably won't even be able to see this. They're like that wide, like that circle right there. They're crazy, and I had to hammer those in there, which not only is hard enough by itself, but I also had to be holding it like that while hammering it in. You can see the problem there. My fingers were getting in the way. So that was an extremely stressful class period when I had to hammer those in. That really sucked. And then the backboard there, on the hinge plate right there and everything. Yeah, so really strong and everything. You can, I know it's called a hall bench, but I've sat on it, my little brother sat on it, but it's just kind of creepy because, like, I don't know if you're supposed to sit on it, but, or if it's just kind of called a hall bench, because of course that one you can perfectly sit on, but this one, I don't know, like, I think you can, it just doesn't, like, feel right, like, it's just scary because how long I spent on this and everything. And it was only $28, all this wood and everything, so not that bad, but it's just scary sitting on it, so I just don't, because not only is this 3 pieces of wood glued together with rabbet joints, which isn't the strongest of joints, but also it's just 6 little screws holding those, the hinge in, which also is not like insanely strong metal or anything. But yeah, so that is that. I'll include some pictures right now so you can see like the bottom, what's holding the basin, and the back and everything, and then the comparison picture between the 2 hull benches while I walk back into my room. So yeah, so you can just see all the pictures of it there. So yeah, so just those 2 right there. So it's been there for I believe I brought it home a couple weeks ago. But so I think that might be where it's staying. I don't have anything in it, of course, right quite yet, but as of right now, that's where it's gonna be staying. Yeah, so and if you're asking how long that took me to make, well, of course, our class periods are about 53 minutes, except for on Wednesdays, they're like 40 or like 38 minutes or something like that. Yeah, so doing those class periods, and I was like productively working and pretty darn fast. But it actually still, I believe I started it in like late December. I started it because semester 1 we were just like, we made of course like a second biggest project of this year, the little keepsake boxes right there, and then I just kind of made my own. We made the ornament, of course, and then I made just like little projects like those 2 things and that thing, my little coaster for my mom and everything. But then semester 2 is when we did that. So I started at the beginning of semester 2, which I believe was, late December or early January or something. So I've been working on it for about 4 months or something like that. So I believe it's my longest I've ever spent on a wood project, because of course that was my 7th grade one, just a little key rack thing, BW2 diamond thing. And then right there, that was my 8th grade project, the Seattle Seahawks clock, which is still, I made that, I believe, back in 2015, and it's been running on literally 1 AA battery ever since. I've never replaced it. And of course, this is not the actual time right now. I've never bothered resetting it, because it's just kind of there, because if I look at the time, I always just look at that or my phone or something. So that's not the right time, but it's still running, like you can hear it. I don't know how well you can, but it's clicking, and of course it's moving a little bit, so yeah, so it's still working. I don't know how, that's like insane, because yeah, it's not running that much power, but I mean, still 24 hours with even that little of power, that you'd think it would be gone after 4 years almost. Yeah, so that is my wood project. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that little wood project, or like it, because I have spent so long on that. If you're wondering what the wood is, it's probably one of my new favorite, if not my new favorite wood, because in real life, I've kind of always just like used wood, just that was, we've kind of had it at the house, or like for school, just the wood that, I mean, like in middle school, he just called it softwood and hardwood, but in high school we actually have like a choice, like there's multiple, like there's a whole woods room with the tools and the woods, and there's tons of different wood, but the most popular wood that like a lot of people chose for their projects, which I also did, was called softwood and maple. Do have some extra, so I will probably be making some extra things. And I actually just finished another project, which is my final project of this year. It's not a big one, it's kind of just like one of these smaller ones, but it's probably one of my more cool small ones. But I will be showing that on the next day vlog, because I just got it turned in just yesterday, so I probably won't be getting it back until after he grades it, so probably like mid or end next week. So yeah, but that's my final like big project, of course, and that was the big project. So yeah, $28 is really not that bad, because it was 10 board feet, just a little bit more, I believe, so it was $28. But yeah, so I just really like that wood, because there's actually little tiny holes, which I don't know if it's actually from worms or what, because it's called softwood maple, but there's little holes, but it's not a wood defect, it's just part of the wood, because it's not like, they're not like whole holes, they're literally like if someone stuck a needle through it or something. But yeah, so I also just love how it's like light wood, and then there's like the cool little like oval things of like darker brown wood. But yeah, so I don't know, I just really like that. But also, I don't know if I've showed this yet. I know I showed that last episode, but just real quick, if I might have showed these last episode. But yeah, so Right here, I just hung up a poster. Of course, I had that one for the Ginger series, but now I have this one for all 4 posters of the whole Donnie the Dino series, since if you watched the previous video, link down in the description, was Donnie the Dino final chapter. Please check that out. It is hilarious. And we went to location and filmed in Donnie's ancestor room. So yeah, and then right here I got the Lay Poof thing, which this Friday, for you guys, I am posting Lay Poof episode 3, which is a finale for that series, of course. So yeah, so there will be that. Yeah, so Clash of Clans account updates, by the way, I said I was going to do them like every other day vlog, but I think from now on, because I just kind of got into the habit of doing them like every day vlog or something, and I just like kind of got in this place where I was just worried that I was going to like lose it, like my other Clash of Clans base, and I was just not going to have it like on camera or anything, but I don't think I really have to worry about that, because I just like, I mean, I have my tablet and my iPod, so if I lost it, that would mean that my iPod and my tablet just somehow died, like, on the same exact day, and I don't think I have to worry about either one of them dying anytime soon. So from now on, I was going to do a Clash of Clans account update this video, but to save time, I may save it till next day vlog, if not the next day vlog. But yeah, so from now on, I'll probably just be doing it, like, every 2 months or so, so every, like, 3 or 4 day vlog, so yeah, but that will save us about 10 minutes from almost every day vlog. But over here, you guys know these are my car posters. That one I believe I showed updated on just the last day vlog, but it's updated yet again, because we saw, yes, you would have saw in the intro, we actually saw, or I haven't seen him in real life, unlike all these other cars, but my dad was saying on the Malmstrom Air Force Base where he works, that he saw a 2018 Ford Focus, which Ford Focus RS, which Ford Focuses RS are, I believe, my 3rd favorite car. They're one of my most favorite cars, even though a lot of people would consider them dumb or kind of just cheap cars, because they're only like $40,000, which, I mean, that's not insanely that much for a lot of the cars on here, but yeah, so that's the one that he actually saw in base. That's not the actual picture, because he sent me a picture, but it was on the phone and everything, which my phone and his phone are considered dinosaurs, so they don't really have that great of pictures, but that's like the same exact one that he had. He even had the blue brake calipers, and it was gray, but then this one, he also saw, and then he told me about it, but then my mom and dad went to Albertsons like the next day, and my mom took a picture of it, so that's the actual picture of that one. So in the Albertsons parking lot, like every Ford Focus RS is always like that blue, which of course that one in Washington that I saw, of course that like same blue, but that's a 2016 one, I believe, but that is a 2018 Ford Focus. So yeah, so you can see the black spoiler right there, and then the blue brake calipers, so that is really cool how we saw both of those. But then right here, my newest car poster, this one of course is all cars from the new car show that was at the beginning of this day vlog, except for one which is right there, which was actually outside. It was owned by some military man that kind of goes to the school. He's, because we always have like different military branches kind of come to our school like every day, and they like have a booth just set up if people want to talk to him or whatever. And his car is I believe a 1967 Ford Mustang GT 500, which they can get very expensive. I believe even if they're not like full and pristine or whatever condition, they're still somewhat expensive, but they can get up to like in the millions of dollars. So his, I imagine, was not that much, but if anything, still quite a bit. But that's like the exact one. That's not the picture of it. But I saw it in the school parking lot when he was talking to some kids about it and everything. But it was like shiny, glossy black with like white racing stripes. So just put that picture right there. And then of course, the Chevrolet Camaro GT. I've only seen one other of those, which of course was in Seattle. That just kind of zipped by us real quick. Which I have the picture of somewhere around here. Of course I've seen a lot of them, but they're my second favorite car, and I've seen like those two, which that one's like my exact model right here. But yeah, so the other, oh yeah, here it is. That's not the actual picture, but the one I saw in Seattle was like gunmetal gray, with the red stripes for the GT, like the GT ones have. But this one was red with the black stripes. So it's kind of just the same thing, but other way around. And I saw another Slingshot. Of course, I've seen two others. because I've seen that one, which is black with a spoiler, that kind of zipped by my mom and dad when we were going over to, like, on the other side of town. And then at that same car show, but like 3 or 4 years ago, we saw a red one. But what was so special about this one is it was actually like more kind of glossy red kind of color, but also it was actually elongated, because I guess it originally belonged to Shaquille O'Neal, so they had to elongate it so he could fit and drive it and everything. So that is actually really, really cool. There's a paper explaining it and everything. And then the little Supra, of course, I've seen one others in the Albertsons parking lot, and her place, which was silver like that, but I saw the one that's like always just like Paul Walker's in the Fast and Furious franchise. But yeah, and then the engine was one of the best I've ever seen. It was just, I love that purple with the carbon fiber and the covers over the belts and everything. And then another Dodge Viper, I've only seen, I believe, one more of those at another car show. I have it somewhere on one of these posters that I may or may not be able to find. Oh yeah, there it is. It was just like a black one. But this one I believe was the same year, which I believe was 2003. But this one is red, which is kind of the Viper signature color. And then the Mini Cooper, I've been wanting to see an old 60s Mini Cooper, because I also love Mini Coopers, especially like the 4-door, and all 4-wheel drive ones. But I've been wanting to, like, the only one I haven't seen, of course my favorite one is the John Cooper Works Countryman Park Lane edition, but I can't remember if it's like a concept car, but it was unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show, so I'll probably never see that one, but that's my favorite Mini Cooper. But I've always wanted to also see one of the 60s ones, because my dad watches this show on YouTube, Crazy Car Mods or something like that, and they like tricked one out that looked just like that, and it was like crazy. Like, it was like a little Mini Cooper, and then they would like drive up to people, and then they'd just be like, and it would sound like some crazy supercar or something. It was like so fast. But yeah, so I saw a cool little blue one, and they were so much small. Like, they were legitimately mini back in the day, but that was the 1967 one. Then, of course, the Demon. I made a post about it. I don't think I ever talked about it on YouTube, but I made a post about it when it was first getting released, back then on Instagram, about a year ago. And I didn't think I was ever going to see one, but I also thought the same thing about the Hellcats, but I saw, that was my first Challenger Hellcat I saw right there, in a dealership in Great Falls, during the, Cruising the Drag last year. And then I saw at a different car show, like last April or something, saw my first Charger Hellcat, the red one, and then in our one of our dealerships I saw a blue one with the carbon fiber tape racing stripes, and then I also saw of course another Hellcat right there at the other car show just a few months ago. But now I have seen my first Demon, because of course you probably can't see that, but that's the little Hellcat logo right there. But the Demon one looks a lot more cool in my opinion, and that is the Demon. I didn't think I was ever going to see one, so I looked over there when we were at the car show, and I was just like, hey look, it's the two Hellcats that we've seen, because I thought it was like the oranger kind of one that was like that one, like the orangish reddish, and then one of the other red ones. But then I looked a little closer, and I was just like, oh, that's a Demon. But yeah, so another cool story behind that one, why it's also a lot more special that we saw it, is because I guess I know there's originally, there was 1,000 ever made, and I don't think they're making anymore, but there's 1,000 Demons ever made. But while they're transporting 3 of them to Montana, the trailer of the truck that was transporting them ended up bursting into flames, and of course destroyed all 3 of them. So what happened is they ended up making 3 more, 3001, 2, and 3. And that one that we saw was actually, the woman's husband was explaining it to us. The husband's wife was explaining it to us. And she said that theirs is actually number 1001. And they actually wrote it on the tires, the dealership that they got it from or whatever. So yeah, so they actually got one of the 3 that were made, and I searched up the other 2, and they are currently not sold. They're actually number 1002 and 1003 are actually at dealerships elsewhere in Montana. I don't know what cities, but yeah, they're both Montana. So that's kind of cool that Montana has all 3 out of all the states. Montana's like one of the most forgotten about ones, or never talked about, or never on big news or anything. Just very once in a great while. But yeah, so that's kind of the cool story behind that one. So Other than that, I believe I'll just, I do have, like, some updated movie posters, that I was gonna take, but I still have to watch one movie. I just got done watching another movie, and then I have one right here, that I'll show on the next day vlog, to show. But other than that, that's pretty much my whole, updated movie poster collection wall. I think the rest I'll just wait and talk about on the next day vlog, just to save time and also just to not rush me or anything with the last movie. Yeah, so I believe that is pretty much it for this day vlog, so I don't think it's insanely long. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully the next day vlog can be a short one finally, because I tried doing them every other day vlog, but I think we went 2 or 3 day vlogs without one now, so hopefully the next one can be kind of short. It might be the concert one, so maybe like 20 minutes or so, because we have the final concert for my sophomore year coming up this Monday, and we're playing 2 pretty fun songs, because the spring concert last year was, of course, The Simpsons, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Inspector Gadget mix-up, or mashup theme song, and then How to Train Your Dragon, and this year it is, a few songs from the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and then a few songs from the Star Wars saga, so definitely check that out, when that comes out. I believe I'll just make a shorter day vlog out of that. And then probably in a month or so, I will do another day vlog, but as of right now, that's pretty much it for this day vlog, so make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.